Moving back to our muser.swift file, here we have our class and we have our functions to register and to log in. But what we are missing is an option to save our user object to our Firestore, like we are doing with our items and with our categories. So we need a function that is going to save a user. We are going to, apart from our authentication, which is saving only the user email address and the user ID. We want to keep also the user address. We want to keep the user name, surname, and the purchase history. So for this, we are going to keep a user object in our database. So every time our user registers, we want to create an instance of a user object and save it here. So to do this, we are going to do exactly the same thing that we used to do with our basket, with our item. So we need a function that will take a user object, like we have an item here, convert it to an NS dictionary, the JSON code, so that we can save this user into our Firestore. So let's write this function, and I'm doing this outside my curly braces, so this is outside of our class. I'm going to put a mark here and call this helper function, and it's going to be a func user dictionary from, and we're going to pass a user object, which is muser, and of course we're going to return an NS dictionary here, and we just say return. I'm going to create an NS dictionary here with objects, which is plural, and for keys, which is also plural. It takes an array here. So the objects is going to be our user.object ID, comma user.email, comma user.firstname, comma user.lastname, comma user.fullname, comma user.full address, and this is an optional, and in case if it's nil, we're going to put an empty string there. User onboarding, and finally user.purchase item IDs. And the keys, we are going to put our keys, and let's put it as NS copying, and this one I'm going to copy, and the first one is K object ID, and we say comma, and we have our email, K email, and I need as NS copying afterwards. Then we have our first name, so it's a K first name, K last name, I don't need a comma here afterwards, K full name, comma K full address, comma, and we have onboard, K onboard, and finally we have purchase ID, so say K purchase item IDs, and this is all we need. After our helper function, actually I'm going to do it right on top of it. I'm going to put a mark and call this save user to Firebase, and we're going to have two functions here. First one is going to save our user to Firebase, which is our cloud, And the second one is going to save our user locally inside our user defaults. So let's write the Firebase first. So func save user to Firestore, and we're going to pass an m user object to save. And in order to save it, I'm going to access my Firebase reference, and we need to access the user area, and we're going to just create a document, and the document is going to have our m user that we are passing dot object id, and then we're going to just say set data, and the data is going to be, we are going to use the one with completion handler. The data is going to be our function that we just wrote, user dictionary from user. So we call this function, say user dictionary from user, and we pass our m user here, which will take it, convert it to a dictionary. Only I need to specify that this is string any format. And completion, if we hit enter, we're going to have an error variable, and I'm going to just for myself say if error is not equals to nil. So if we have any error, we just print it to the console so that we are aware of this error. Error saving user, and we just pass our error dot localized description. And let's just unwrap the error here. And the second function is going to be called func save user locally, and we're going to pass our m user dictionary, because in order to save something into user defaults, it should be a dictionary. We cannot save a user object there. So say ns dictionary here, and I'm going to access user defaults standard dot set, and we're going to set value, which is any, for key. The value is going to be our m user dictionary that we are passing here, and for key is going to be k current user. And once we do this, we say user defaults dot standard dot synchronize, which will do the saving for us. So we have these two save function, and in our next lecture we are going to see how we are going to use these two functions.